Hi friends. Today I'm going to be reading the short story titled The Misadventures of the Knitting Circle. Evelyn was known for her enchanting storytelling skills, and Hayden, her granddaughter, loved to sit by her side, eager to hear the tales of whimsy and wonder that her grandmother spun. As the sun began to set one evening, casting a golden glow over the room, Hayden settled comfortably on a plush cushion and looked up at her grandmother with anticipation. Evelyn smiled, her eyes twinkling with mischief, and began her story. "Ah, my dear Hayden," she began, her voice soft and melodic. "Let me tell you the story of the misadventures of the Knitting Circle. This tale takes place in a town, much like our own, where the love for knitting brought together a group of eccentric individuals." Hayden's eyes widened with curiosity, and she leaned in closer, captivated by her grandmother's words. "Now, in this knitting circle, there was a lady named Mildred," Evelyn continued, her voice taking on a gentle rhythm. "She was the knitting guru of the group. Her nimble fingers danced with the knitting needles, and her collection of yarn rivaled the colors of a rainbow." Hayden imagined Mildred weaving intricate patterns and bringing vibrant creations to life with her magical hands. "But that's not all," Evelyn said, her voice filled with excitement. "There was also Steve, an absent-minded professor who often found himself tangled in his yarn, accidentally knitting hats for garden gnomes." Hayden giggled at the image of Steve busily knitting tiny hats for the gnomes, his unruly hair covered in strands of yarn. "And then there was Antoinette," Evelyn continued, a twinkle in her eye. "She was the troublemaker of the group. Once she knitted a scarf so long that it stretched across the entire town and caused a comical traffic jam." Hayden gasped, imagining cars and bicycles trying to navigate around the never-ending scarf. Evelyn paused momentarily, savoring the anticipation in the air, and then smiled warmly at Hayden. "You see, my dear, the knitting circle wasn't just about knitting. It was about embracing the unexpected, finding joy in the little things, and creating laughter through their misadventures." Hayden nodded, her young mind absorbing the wisdom in her grandmother's words. "Now, one fateful Wednesday," Evelyn continued, her voice carrying a hint of suspense, "Mildred revealed her latest creation, a knitted hammock." The knitting circle couldn't contain their excitement, envisioning lazy afternoons spent in the comfort of their handmade masterpiece. "But," Evelyn added with a glimmer in her eye, "the hammock had a peculiar quality. It was so stretchy that when they tested it out, it launched them into the air, propelling them on an unexpected journey through the town." Hayden's eyes widened, her imagination running wild with the image of the knitting circle soaring through the sky, knitting needles and yarn trailing behind them like a rainbow-colored comet. "Can you imagine, Hayden?" Evelyn asked, her voice filled with joy. The townsfolk watched in awe as the knitting circle weaved through the sky, leaving a trail of laughter and wonder in their wake. As Evelyn spoke, Hayden could almost hear the laughter and feel the excitement of the townspeople as they witnessed the airborne knitters. "And when they landed, with a thud in the town square," Evelyn continued, her voice gentle and nostalgic, "they couldn't help but burst into laughter. Their misadventure had turned into a wild and unexpected joyride." Hayden smiled, imagining the group of knitters, their faces flushed with excitement, sharing laughter and stories of their escapade. "But, my dear," Evelyn said, her voice taking on a more serious tone, "the true lesson of the knitting circle's misadventure was this. Life is like a skein of yarn. It's full of knots, tangles, and unpredictable patterns. Instead of fretting over the mistakes and mishaps, it's best to embrace them with laughter and creativity. Evelyn paused, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. For it's the misadventures that make life interesting and memorable, my dear Hayden. Hayden nodded, her eyes shining with understanding. And so, my dear, Evelyn concluded, her voice filled with warmth and wisdom, the knitting circle became renowned in Yarnville for their adventurous spirit, their ability to find humor in every situation, and their generous hearts that knitted warmth and comfort for those in need. Hayden smiled, imagining the knitting circle's acts of kindness, their needles weaving love and compassion into every stitch. And now, my darling Hayden, Evelyn said, her voice filled with love, the next time life hands you a tangled mess, remember the misadventures of the knitting circle. Embrace the laughter, my dear, and you might just knit a beautiful story that will warm the hearts of those around you. As Evelyn finished her story, Hayden nestled closer to her grandmother, feeling a newfound appreciation for the power of laughter and creativity. And as they sat there, surrounded by the soft glow of the fading sun, Hayden knew that the misadventures of the knitting circle would forever be remembered in her heart, reminding her to find joy in life's unexpected twists and turns.